Now, I must point out that I said earlier on that Ofcom have given us special dispensation. They absolutely haven't, apparently.
Okay, so that was a lie.
Yeah,
okay.
But apparently we can say the title of your book because it's the title of your book. And also, you are using the word as reference to being an idiot.
Denigrating myself. Exactly, I am.
So,
am I allowed to say it then?
Dawn French has a brand new book out, A Life of Mistakes, No Regrets, the title of which is...
The Files.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because it's just a series of when I've been in Eejit.
Yeah, and it's brilliant.
And I tell you, when I started to write it, I thought, oh, this is a few little stories. And then they came at me like a tsunami. The minute I started to remember, I thought, oh, it's one after another after another.
And they're so funny and so poignant. And some are really emotional. The whole French and Saunders and Anastasia, which starts off, you think, this is going to be hilarious. You think, oh, this is how it all ended.
Yeah.
This is your George Harrison moment.
Do you know, to this day, I still haven't quite worked it out. And Fatty Saunders certainly hasn't worked it out and thinks I was an idiot. But it was just a day. I think I probably was at a tipping point.
Right, let's put a pin in that one.
Yes.
We'll get to that at the end.
Okay.
I want to go straight in with the King and I, or the King and you.
Yes.
Come on, off you go.
His Royal Highness.
This is so... Yeah, he wasn't the king then,
he's our king now.
He was heading towards the throne.
Yeah.
Hurtling towards the throne.
I was in one of the Narnia films, and I played Mrs. Beaver opposite Ray Winston playing Mr. Beaver. And we went to the Royal... the premiere. And I was quite excited about meeting Charlie, because, you know, I've got a bit of a fancy for him. Anyway, it's the sort of thing I'd like to ruffle his hair on a Sunday morning, you know, that kind of fancy. Anyway, he was coming down the line greeting everybody, and he started it, I have to say. He started it because he had been to see A Midsummer Night's Dream that I was in.
Blame him.
No, I'm blaming him fully on the royal head. I'm blaming him. And he said to me, well, the last time I saw you, I saw your bottom, referring to the character Bottom in Midsummer Night's Dream that I played. And I thought, right, we're off. And I said, and tonight, sir, you will see my beaver. And then I did lots of over laughing. And he very quickly moved on. You know, it was like, there was the line and then French had gone over the line. And I was so busy gulping. And I heard Ray Winston, of all people, kind of make that noise, like, oh, that noise next to
I didn't think Ray Winston could make that noise.
I know, and Ray Winston wouldn't normally, but even he knew that I was about to be beheaded. Yeah. And as Prince Charles, as he then was, moved down the line quickly, I was looking at him, just regretting everything, and I heard a noise in my ear. It was going, Dawn, Dawn, like that, and I went, yes, what? And it was her, it was Camilla. And I went, oh, sorry, I'm just telling him about my beaver. No, sorry, I just, you know, everything just went wrong. Everything went wrong. But that's me. See a royal and I just put my foot in it.
What I love about the fact... The whole story is that you were really pleased. You thought, I've got a great line here. This is funny. It's going to be funny. And you couldn't help yourself. Not only could you not help yourself, you weren't even helping anything. This is killer. He's going to love this. Because we know Charlie's got a sense of humour. He's all right, Charlie, and all this kind of stuff. And and then you came out and you thought, no, why did I say that?
It's the faux pas, isn't it? When your inner voice is saying, don't say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
Yeah.
But there's something in me. There's something of
Naughty
the school child.
Well, this is the thing about writing, isn't it? Because a lot of people who come on, well, they come on the show they'll come on for like 10, 20 minutes, but they won't come on for like half an hour or an hour. And I say to them, by the way, thanks for coming on, but why won't you stay any longer? It's because I'm a writer. And what we do is we write things, and we write all the potential cancelling out of what we're writing. So we're smart without the risk.
Yeah, I see.
And this is the thing, this difference between writing a sketch, and delivering a sketch that's been written and rehearsed, and being in the writers room. You were in the writers room.
I'm in the writers room.
Unfortunately,
my head is the writers room
with Prince Charles.
I know, but I should have been in the editing suite.
No, but
at that point, and I really wasn't.
But the book is full of these stories, and it's gorgeous. All right, where do you want to go next? Johnny Depp or Dustin Hoffman? You pick.
Oh Lord,
go for Hoffman first.
Well, Dustin Hoffman came to see a play that I was in with Jennifer, and it was. Honestly, it isn't even that funny. It's just surreal. I think people like Dustin Hoffman, big stars, when they come to see you afterwards, they feel like they know that they're important to you. So they sort of bless you. Anyway, he came into the room and he's, an actor of substance. He knows how to make an entrance. And he came round the corner and he kind of stood firmly, pointed at me. And what happened next was extremely surreal because I'd been on stage for the last 2 hours and he pointed at me and he just just went actress, 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 but 30 or 40 times as he advanced upon me. Right, I honestly didn't know what to do with my face. So I just started to giggle too much, and then gurn a lot at him. And then he moved on, and he was talking to, in fact, Richard Curtis was there on the same night, talking to Richard. And when he got to Richard, he said, "What are you up to?" And Richard said he was writing the second series of Vicar of Dibley. To which last person in the line was Len, right, who was standing there, and I was looking at Len. Obviously, I knew him very well, was married to him for nearly 30 years, and I just thought, oh, Len is panicking, because Len is the king of the faux pas, worse than me, actually, and Dustin Hoffman is one of his absolute idols, so I could see he's thinking, I mustn't say the wrong thing, and what you should know is that Dustin Hoffman is not a tall man. He is not. Dustin Hoffman sleeps in a matchbox, and that is the truth. He's very, very, very tiny, and Len is very, 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 very tall. So as Dustin Hoffman got to Len genuinely shook his hand and said, "Hi, big guy." And honestly, the room just froze. You know, one of those moments where I ate my chair with my actual bumhole. It was just so absolutely awful. And then Dustin Hoffman went to leave, but he turned at the door in a kind of showman way, and he pointed at me again. I thought, oh, we're off again. And this time he said, artist. So I'd been promoted, obviously. So artist, another 30 times, and then out the door.
Yeah.
You know, where you just think, what has just happened in this room?
All right, Johnny Depp.
So Johnny Depp came and he agreed to do a comic relief thing with us.
Yeah.
And,
how does that happen, by the way? Who calls him?
Oh,
Who's got his number?
Curtis does, or somebody does, you know.
I might write a film for you if you agree to be in a comic relief sketch.
I don't even know if it's that. I just think he knows that he's... Anglophile, is that the right word?
Yeah.
He loves British comedy.
Yeah.
He loves Paul Whitehouse and all that lot, you know. And so I think Richard knew there was a little tiny door open. So I asked him if he would come and be in the Vicar of Dibley, and he agreed to it. But we went to his set. He was shooting, what was that film where it's...
Pirates of the Caribbean?
No. He's on horseback. It's like ghostly in the woods. Anyway,
Scissorhands, not Scissorhands.
No. We'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, he was doing that, so we went.
With a vampire?
No.
He's like Tonto.
He's on horseback and there's headless people and stuff. Unless this is just my dreams. This could be my erotic dreams. Could be. Is he on horseback? Has he got a top on? No.
So it's Johnny. So Johnny Depp.
Anyway, Johnny Depp's in his caravan, and he's agreed that he will be part of the joke that I'm having a party at the vicarage. Right. So I'm in character, but it is Johnny Depp. You know, and there is something of me, Dawn. I mean, I've got some confidence, thank you, Dad, who gave me confidence when I was young, where I don't believe that I'm someone who can be sort of discounted. Yeah. So I'm busy thinking that I could possibly get off with Johnny Depp. I don't know. Something in my head is thinking, well, I'm meeting him, and in order to marry him, you have to meet them. And this is that moment, isn't it? This is the moment where he meets me, we look at each other, we kind of tip into love immediately, tip into bed maybe later. I don't know. And I was thinking all of that, but I'm in my vicar outfit.
Quantum leap.
And I've got, anyway, I knocked on the door. Yes. And he opened the door, and this is before we started shooting, right? And I was all sort of primped and ready for what was going to happen, which was a future of erotic yes with Johnny Depp. And what I saw reflected in his eyes was that he was paying me respect, like a sort of matronly person he looked up to and had a benign, vague interest in. That was all I saw, and I thought, oh, I need to sort of rein it in. I need to put other knickers on. I just need to clamp up and stop it.
There's a lot of snogging chat in the book. I mean, it starts off with snogging, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you were younger.
Oh, I know. I just can't. I can't
it's
stop.
your favourite thing in the world, isn't it?
Oh
snogging?
God, isn't it yours?
Well, no.
Am I alone with
you
this?
talk about the 5 sweets in bed thing, which is hilarious.
That's still happening, Chris.
I know. It's in the book. You've never been knowingly not joyous with a curly whirly in your hand.
Yeah.
Like a wand almost, a wand of joy.
I mean, I don't know what happiness is. All I know is that I've never not been happy when I've got a curly whirly. Right. That's all I'm saying.
So curly whirly, 5 sweets in bed
after brushing teeth.
Without exception.
Yeah, but look
to
at my
this
very
day.
small teeth.
I know, and raised
They're
gums and all
far
that.
too small now.
Or snogging.
Oh, you're giving me a choice.
You can only pick.
No, there's no world
There's no
where
choice.
that's the case.
Okay.
All of the things can happen at once, and in fact, they all lead. Because, the endorphins, the toffees, the sugar, all leads to joy, and that leads to snogging.
Right.
I can't, snogging is our gift, isn't it? It's just a complete pleasure point.
Oh, does any other species snog?
I mean, they do. They cuddle, don't they?
Yeah, and they rub noses and all that stuff. But
yeah, I'm not sure they do. That's a good question. I'd like to know the answer to that.
I think we're the only species who have to be taught to swim, and we're the only species who voluntarily snog.
Yeah,
a lot.
Oh
in
God,
Dawn's
but it's
case.
heaven, isn't it? I have decided not to have boyfriends who can't.
Yeah,
because there are some boys that do. I
just
don't
can't
know.
snog.
Do sucking or weird
what
blowing
do they do
or
that
weird
for?
stuff. They do, and they haven't got the lips. I have trained a few, I have to say. When I was younger, I thought, I really like you so much, I'm going to have to take control of this. I'm going to have to say, this is how you do it.
All right, where do we want to go next? I mean, we did tell the Panto story earlier on, but I mean...
Oh, did you?
It's the best,
how embarrassing was
it
that?
might be the best story in the book, but then again, it's not a competition. The book is full of these amazing stories. Some really poignant, not very many.
Yes. But there is an undertow to this. The whole point is to own your mistakes.
Tell us.
That is the point of it. I'm just not anymore. I'm 66 now. I'm not going to have shame about mistakes. And it's a bit like, it's like light into darkness. If you shine a light on something, darkness disappears. And you own something. You step into it and you can have a good laugh. And, mistakes are there to teach us stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, tell us about the James Bond invite.
Oh God!
I think your story.
I know, but I'm dripped with humiliation about all of them. It's quite hard for me to go through all of them immediately.
No, but you've
like
written a book about them, and I go, well, you go, oh God, not that one. I suppose that's the point of the book.
That is the point. And don't you love it if your mates tell you all their mistakes?
Yeah,
and you tell
but
them?
also I love your book because I think I'm gonna own some of mine because we've all got.
Yeah, we have.
Well, they do say, don't they? If you don't make a mistake every day, you're not trying hard enough.
Well, that is true. I also found out that gemstones are at their best value when they have impurities and structural defects.
Who told you that?
No, I read it and I thought, that's absolutely right. That's what we are. Yeah, if you've got the structural defects, own them and enjoy them and retell them, embellish them and all the rest of it.
All right, come on, tell us.
So
allude a bit to James Bond.
I'm not very good at red carpet moments. I don't like getting a new dress and hairdo and I don't do it at all. I say no to all of it. And I'm very lucky I've got a PA who filters all this stuff for me. So I'm very grateful for that. That's lovely Sue.
Yeah.
Let's give her a little nod.
And that's her actual name, isn't it?
That's her actual name. First name Lovely, surname Sue.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of is a firewall between me and all this sort of stuff. So I don't get, anyway, I don't go to these things. And I did get an invite to a James Bond premiere of No Time to Die. And remember, it had been put off twice because of COVID. So this was like a big ticket.
Mega.
And even that, I just thought, I'm not going to go to it. So I knew that Sue would send a polite no because she knows that's what I would do. So I sent a reply to Sue that I thought would make Sue laugh. I can't use the language on the radio.
Can I paraphrase it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is actually what Dawn sent to Lovely Sue. This will be another big F-off red carpet nightmare with all the usual really can't say the next word, in attendance. I have my eyes pecked out by diseased pigeons. I'd rather have can't say the next word, munched off by rabid wild dogs. Frankly, a polite no from me, thank you.
Yeah, so I sent that to Sue, I thought. So a couple of seconds later, I get a response directly from the people at the James Bond film saying, thank you for your speedy response. We totally understand. I had sent it directly to them. This is what happens, isn't it? Yeah, I shouldn't go anywhere near an email or any tech at all because I'm crap with it.
Well, they do say you should write your email responses in notes. So therefore, that cannot happen.
Okay, you're imagining I know what notes are.
Well, I've just, notes on your phone.
Yeah, well, just scroll down and revise it. Before
By the way, I can sense in that reply from the Bond people that they almost wanted to put in brackets, and we agree with you.
Exactly. Capitulate. You're right. We wish we didn't have to go too.
Yeah. So you didn't go?
I did not go.
Unlike the Elton John party, which you and Lenny did attend.
Yes. But I don't want to tell you about that because I don't want people going looking for the photo
All right,
of
okay,
it.
all right. So, but it's in your book.
It is in my book. It is in my book.
I don't want to talk about it, but I'm happy for millions of people to buy my book and read about
But
it.
you have to remember, I also perform this book on stage. Although I did, but I now had to. I've had to reschedule some dates.
I'll tell you what, we can. I know because of your thing, which we'll talk about.
Which thing? You just said because of my thing. That's going to leave your listeners hanging.
To be honest, I've already talked about it.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
You've already said. Oh.
Yeah, because you were due on tomorrow, and the fact you're on the same day as Richard is perfectly
Yes, and
coincidental.
thank you, everyone.
It's
for that.
gorgeous. No, God, Dawn, you can come in
Tomorrow,
every day,
I am
announced, unannounced, 3 hours, 3 minutes, 3 seconds.
Thank you.
Forever.
Thank you.
Dawn, because you're very good for our ratings.
Okay, that's
It's got
nice.
to be said.
I don't know if I feel the affection of that, of the genuine love.
No, there isn't any.
You're very
It's
good
purely
for
business.
our
It's
ratings.
purely
This is the
business.
love I hope to get.
No, it's purely transactional.
Okay, thanks.
Just being honest.
Okay.
No, not at all. You know, I love you. So what we can say about the Elton John thing, without
Yeah.
going into it too much, what I want to say is you have we have a mutual abhorrence for fancy dress parties.
Yes,
which is
bad.
interesting coming from you because sort of as an actress, that's sort of what you do for a
It
living.
is, but that's part of the reason is that sort of work, and I don't know how to get it right. I'm not in the sophisticated gang of the glamorous partygoers who know how to wear something that's
Masquerade-y.
Or glamorous and a little bit funny but comfortable.
Well, the thing is, because they're all in, aren't they? They
Yeah,
go
they
all
are.
in. You've got to go all in.
Or
on
they
these.
have designers that
Yeah,
do
but they're all
things
in.
for them, but I don't. I have to call my mum or my friend
No,
to
but
make
even
something.
if they don't have designers, because not
Yes.
everybody does, they will call their mum all in. They'll be all in on all of it
Yeah,
to
that's
whatever their
true.
resources are.
Yeah.
You're just reluctant.
Yeah,
There's
reluctant.
resistance,
I
reluctance.
know, I know.
Don't go. Stay at home.
I know.
Watch Netflix.
But doesn't that mean you miss out on some
Reconsider
of the,
French and Saunders get together. Just don't go to these. No, it doesn't at all.
I don't go, Chris.
Because,
I don't
no,
go.
I know you don't, nor do I, and I don't like
Don't
them.
miss it.
I've been invited to the poshest do ever in December, and I'm just not going.
What is that?
I'm
What's
not
the
going to
poshest
say
do
it.
ever?
It's like one of the ones in your book.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I'm not going. My friend said, why aren't you going? I said, I can't think of anything worse.
Well, here's the thing: is these are where I make the big mistakes as well. So why don't I just stay away and eat
Well,
popcorn?
because then you get
go
another
to
book.
the
No,
cinema?
hang on, that's why you should go.
Well, I've done that now. You know, although I have to say there are so many more, but that's for the future. But you know, I went to the Women of the Year lunch once, and Sarah Ferguson was there, and they did that weird thing to Jennifer and I, where they hive you off into a VIP department, which is basically just something behind a red rope. So you're like posh cattle. You know, and then there's the other cattle over there. It's just absolutely awful. And Jennifer and I, you know, we've got a respect for the royal family. Of course we have. But this is Sarah Ferguson, and a lot of years ago. But I was saying to Jennifer, I'm not going to do curtsying. I'm equal to this person. I'm never going to be doing anything like that. And she agreed. We're not going to do that. Cut to the minute that Sarah Ferguson comes down the line. You've never seen more grovelly, obsequious genuflecting than from me. Something happened in my head where you immediately cave in and yes, my lady, whatever you want, absolutely anything. Good morning, your mistress, your highness. That's what I was doing, and I looked at Jennifer and thought, oh God, look what's happened to me. This isn't going to happen to you. And then cut to her doing it. So you leave sort of dripping with humiliation about your own behaviour.
I know.
You
It's
don't
horrible.
even know why you've done
You've never
it.
felt more uncomfortable in your own skin.
Yes, so don't go.
Elton played this party for us, and I know him. We've interviewed him. I've been to his house, and we've had a cup of tea, loads of things, years and years and years and years and years. And then he does this thing for us a couple of years ago, where he plays in a field in a tent. So it's a bloke in a tent in a field. Yes, it's Elton John. He's very good at what he does, and it was a really nice field, and it was a really posh tent. But it's still a bloke in a tent in a field, right? We sell all these tickets, 50 pairs of tickets for £2 million for his age charity, and it's all great, right? But just because of the sense of the occasion, I go backstage and say, do you want to say hello to Elton? I'm going, oh, I don't know. And now I know the guy. So I'm with you. I'm like, I've become this other person.
I know.
said, well, not if he's busy. No. I've been to his house. Right?
I know,
And
it's
then
so
they said,
ridiculous.
oh, he really wants to see you. So already I'm like, oh, why did I just say, yeah,
And now
of
you're
course,
being
or-
rude.
No, it's just like, I'm in this space that I don't even recognise. And then I go and see Elton backstage in the tent in the field. That I rented the tent. I know the bloke who owns the field. I asked Elton to do all this, right?
Yeah.
And all I do for the Melanie is I fall to my knees, right? Literally, and I go, thank you. Thank you.
Can I just say?
And he looks at me aghast, and he doesn't know what to say. And then I put my hands up and say, I'll leave it to it. And then I walk out the tent. And we don't exchange 2 words. And he's never spoken to me since. This book is Dawn French. It is the Files. We are allowed to say it because of this.
Warning. This interview contains language that those of a sensitive nature may find a little close to the knuckle. If you're of a sensitive nature, please proceed with caution.
And quite seriously, it's because Dawn is referencing this word to mean an absolute Eejit.
It did, and the reason I chose that word, Chris, is that that was a word that was in my family home that was used by my mum.
Yes.
And I find that word very sweet. It's it's a hug with a little slap. Yeah. If you know what I mean.
I know, and you do explain the mitigation. You give mitigation in the start of the book.
I wouldn't ever want to offend anyone, but to me that is not offensive.
Yeah, because it's you absolute.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
Yeah,
isn't it?
And it's okay. You take it. There are other words that hurt.
Yeah.
To me, that word doesn't hurt, but I accept that it does to some people.
I get you. But we are allowed to say because it's the title of your book, and we've had situations like this before.
Yeah. And also it means you can give it to that person in your life.
Yeah.
And with love.
And it rhymes with...
Tell them at Christmas that they're one of these.
It rhymes with that. The That Files.
The That Files.
Dawn French is simply the best. Everyone needs a Dawn French in their life, and thankfully we all have her. I just love this interview, says Kate in Wallingford. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Thank you.
Neela from Wallingford. I love Dawn so much, and she has, for the first time in 2 weeks, just made me laugh so hard and feel lightness. She is a gift.
Oh.
She's also taller than me, which is extraordinary. So if she stands next to me, she'll look tall. I'm available most days.
Oh, this is a person under 5 feet.
Yes.
Well done.
Laura in West Drayton, I'm so glad you have Dawn French on this morning. I've listened to her new book on Audible, which was a real treat. I spent days travelling to work on the train, chuckling and laughing out loud. I loved it. May in Suffolk. Well, Dawn French is just the most brilliant ray of sunshine for this morning. Thank you both for some much needed giggles. Denise from Whittam, can't stop giggling at Dawn French. You have to listen to her musings on Instagram. They'll brighten the darkest day. Her book is on my list for Christmas. Wayne from Cambridge, the Johnny Depp film was Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow. Thank you. Yes.
We've got the Lone Ranger here, Johnny Depp, who's also... I didn't even know.
No, it wasn't that.
Sleepy
Although he
Hollow.
Was on horseback in that, believe me.
I've
watched.
We're
closely.
almost on time. I love you. I love you.
And I've known you for a long time, Chris, and it's funny watching us both deteriorate at the same time.
It's so funny. And I was at home yesterday, right? And I was reading your book. Everybody else was out. And I was reading your book, and I had the reading light on, and I put it on just as the sun was setting, about 4 o'clock, 4:15. And then last night, on Mondays, Noah gets home late. The kids go off to do their club. Tash takes them, and Eli doesn't get home from school till 25 to 7 anyway. And it was dark by the time Noah finally came through the front door. And so the whole house was reading your book via this one light. It was beautiful, beautiful. I thought to myself, I'm so glad I know Dawn French.
Oh, Chris.
Literally, I'm so...
Bless you.
I can't believe I know you because as a kid, because you are a bit older than me, half a generation older than me.
I am.
So I used to watch you on telly, and I can't believe I know you now. And I thought last night, I'm going to double down on all my efforts to stay in the business that I've been fortunate enough to be dealt a hand to be in, because I want to know Dawn a bit longer.
Oh, Chris, that is wonderful. Thank you for that. Well, we've been in the same air very often. We've done each other favours. You've helped me with certain things, and I've helped you with certain things, and I'm privileged to do that. It's a delight.
And I woke up one night, and you were at the end of my bed, and it wasn't a dream. Yeah.
At the end of your bed. At the end of your bed.
Wasn't my bed. It was
Okay. Yeah, I know. Yes, I know who you mean.
And I thought, am I dreaming? And I woke up and I said to our mutual friend, I said,
yes,
I had a dream last night that Dawn French was sitting on the end of it. I shouldn't know she was. I went, was she?
I was. I definitely was. Yeah, I was coming in as the cavalry.
You really
to
were.
help out at that point.
You really were. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Dawn.
Let's keep living, Chris.
Let's keep living.
Yeah.
Can we just touch on the Anastasia story?
Yes.
Because not at the death, but pretty much towards the end of the book, you do talk about what I thought was going to be this hilarious Anastasia story.
Yeah.
And it turns to be very poignant. Turns out to be very poignant.
It's not Anastasia's fault, I hasten to add. She was just being a very sweet guest on our show.
Nobody's fault.
No. And very often we've had guests on the show where we impersonate them to their faces. And that's a point of hilarity.
Yeah.
And I was doing an impression of her, and the costume lady had got the costume for me. And I remember saying, Anastasia's into this kind of cowgirl look, a bit like Madonna was at the time, but but it was kind of cutting edge fashion cowboy. And she went and got me a sort of line dancing fringed shirt look, and I really looked wrong. It was really wrong. And I looked in the mirror and it just wasn't... It was funny for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And I felt humiliated. It's an odd thing to feel.
And it
like.
was your decision.
Yes. And it's nobody's fault. It was just one of those minutes. And we had been very lucky that the Top of the Pop studio was right there next to us, and they let us go on that stage in front of that audience to do this thing. So I'm looking like a bad Anastasia. She's being Anastasia, being very sweet.
Whilst borrowing Top of the Pops' audience.
Yes, who are looking at me like they don't know what they're looking at. And I don't blame them. I didn't know what I was at that moment. And we did the sketch, but I couldn't feel the joy of it at all. And we said goodbye to Anastasia, thank you, goodbye to everyone, goodbye to the crew, got in the car, and I wept all the way home, and I thought, that's it, I'm done. And in fact, I think it was because Jen and I had been talking about the fact that, you know, trying to find new characters, when you doing a sketch show is a young person's game.
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to look old, look young, whatever. No longer could
And you don't think about it, you just do it.
You just do it. And and no longer could we pretend to be teenagers and get away with it. So, in fact, the time was coming for us to just metamorphose into something else. And I called it on that day because I felt odd when I got in the car. And it was just that sketch that tipped me. And I can't entirely explain it because it's not about looking ugly. I'd looked ugly many times, didn't mind that, but I've been in control of it somehow.
Yeah.
And somehow I was out of control and I did not enjoy it. And to not enjoy being in comedy, that's the time to stop.
Yeah.
Or to change it. Just change it.
Yeah, it was no longer a joke that was written. You felt like the joke really was on you.
Yeah, it was just odd. It was just suddenly stepped outside myself and looked at it and did not like it.
But to have that sort of mindfulness to call yourself out to the extent that, this really is the end of the line now.
That's the end of that. But, you know, Jen is my darling and I love the bones of her. And she
fatty.
is... Oh, fatty. And we see each other. We do a podcast together. We do all kinds of... We're forever talking about other things we'll do. But, that was its moment. That was its moment.
Right, I'm going to leave you with this, Dawn, because I think you'll like it. Anne in Fareham says, Dawn is the most relatable guest you've ever had on. And then in uppercase, it's not just me. Thank you, Dawn.
Oh, bless.
Because that's it.
Thank you.
We're all these, aren't we?
We are.
We're all these.
We are all these. And I love people who are these. You know, I find people trying to be perfect impossible to relate to.
All right. This book is going live and direct as the crow flies, express train-wise, not stopping at any other stations, all the way to number one. This is going to be the number one book.
Well, I don't think, Britney Spears is there, it possibly can be. But I pretty much say it'll be funnier than her book.
Never believe what the publishers tell you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You know why they've said that?
Why?
So you do every interview they ask you to do in the world.
Well, okay.
There's Neil Reading and there's Neil Reading. For Reading C Reading and for Reading C Reading. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
You're the best.
I love you.
Richard Curtis is in a sec. What should we ask him?
And I love him.
What should we ask him?
Oh, ask him who he likes best, Emma Freud or Dawn French.
Okay, and then run for the hills.
The Chris Evans Breakfast Show.
Thanks, Dawn.